All right, guys. So this is going to be the lesson 1.1 video 3. 1.1 video 1, we went over this part. 1.1 video 2, we went over the examples down here. Now, if you flip this page, the next page directly after it should say example 2 at the top. This is the rest of the notes for lesson 1.1, and this is what I'm going to go through and finish in this video. All right. So this is video 3 for lesson 1.1. There will be one more video for this lesson. It'll be me doing a few example problems for you on your homework so you can kind of see what we expect as far as homework goes. All right. So I'm going to start at the top here. For example 2, it says translate the following verbal expressions. Remember, verbal expressions means words. Translate the following verbal expressions. That means words. If you can see, A through D are all words, right? So verbal expressions are words into algebraic expressions or equations. Algebraic expressions are numbers, operations, and variables, but I'm just going to label it as numbers, okay? So then we know we have to change words to numbers, okay? So we're changing words to numbers. All right, so for A here, it says the sum of 5 and a number. So I'm going to highlight and underline a few different things. I underlined sum because that is our operation. I underlined 5 because that is our constant. And then anytime it says a number, we know we are going to use a variable. So I'm going to do that. So before I write this out, okay, I'm going to figure out what operation I need to use and then translate it over onto this section over here, okay? So for the first one, the sum of 5 and a number, if I do not know what sum means, I go to my page that we were just on, which is right here. I look at my chart. I look for sum. Boom, there's sum. It means addition, so we're going to use the plus sign, okay? So above the word sum, I'm going to put a plus sign. Above 5, I'm going to write the letter 5 or the number 5. And then for a number, why don't we be simple and let's use x for our variable. We'll use x to represent a number, which is our variable. But if we just put plus 5x, that doesn't make sense. It's the sum of 5 and a number, so this plus sign needs to move here because it's 5 plus x, the sum of 5 and a number. So over here, I'm going to write what it should look like. It should look like this. We have 5. We have the plus sign, which means sum, and then we have our variable, which represents a number, which is x. Okay, so that is the final answer to that problem. It should look like 5 plus x. We went from changing the words to numbers. Before we were doing numbers to words, now we're doing words to numbers, okay? So let's look at the next one. I'm going to highlight where it says difference because that is our operation. I'm going to underline in green where it says a number because that means we're going to be using a variable. And then I'm going to underline in red our constant, which in this case says 8. So if we do not know what difference means, we go back to our handy chart. On our chart, we look for the word difference. Oh, I see it. It is right there. It means subtraction. So I'm going to go back, label it as subtraction so we know it's subtraction. So I'm going to put a minus sign above difference. For this one, why don't we use the variable y? Let's use the variable y. We can use any letter we want. So let's use y, and then I'm going to write 8. But difference here cannot go on the outside. It cannot be minus y8. It has to go between the numbers. So my final problem will look like y. My operation is going to be in black. It's the difference, so it's subtraction. We have y minus, and then our number is 8. So we have y minus 8. Okay, that's the answer to that problem. We changed the words to numbers. All right, let's look at the next one. It says 3, so I'm going to underline that. I'm going to make a 3. And then it says less than the product. So this has 2 operations of 5 and a number. So a number, remember, means a variable. Let's use x again. We'll use x and y for all of these because those are the most common variables. So let's look for the word less than on our sheet. I see that. Under subtraction, I see less than, so I know it's subtraction. So I'm going to put a minus sign above where it says less than. And then For the product, let's look for the word product now. Oh, I see product. It is under multiplication. So our multiplication is going to be this little dot. That's how we're going to represent multiplication. All right, we don't use an X or a times sign because that gets confusing because we use the variable X. So product is a little dot. Okay, so now I'm going to write out my equation. It says 3 less than. If you look on the front, anytime it says less than, we know that goes to the end. Okay, so the product of 5 and a number will look like 5. And then we want to do our dot. This is the product, 5 times. Now, instead of a number, we're going to put our variable. We chose X. So we have 5 times X. And then 3 less than that, we need to do our minus sign. That's my minus sign, minus the number 3. So we have 5 times X minus 3, or we could say 5X minus 3. This next one I'll do pretty quickly. We have 4 more than 2 times a number. So more than, if you look at your sheet, you would see that it is addition. So we're going to use an addition sign. 2 times a number, I see another 2. And then we have times. If you looked, you would see that was multiplication. So I'm going to use my little dot. And then a number. Let's use y this time. We're going to use y for our variable. So that will look like anytime you see more than, that goes to the end too. So first we have to do 2 times a number. So we're going to write 2. And instead of doing that dot, I'm just going to put it right next to it because we can do that for multiplication. We can put our variable right next to our constant. So it looks like 2x. Then I do my operation of plus because it's addition. And then 4 is our first number. So 4 goes at the end there. And we just translated 4 more than 2 times a number into an algebraic expression. Okay. All right, so the next video I will go through a little bit for example 3, and then we'll do some of the homework. Thank you guys.